Our next guest is the current bishop of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He's the first and so far the only bishop to lift the dispensation for Sunday Mass for the faithful in his diocese during the COVID pandemic. Please welcome Bishop Donald DeGrood to the program. Bishop, this coming Sunday, August 23rd, will be the first weekend where the dispensation, forgiveness for skipping Mass, no longer applies, except, of course, for those who are severely ill or for some reason physically can't come. How did you come to this decision, Bishop DeGrood, to lift the dispensation in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, it's been something that's been in my heart for a long time. So, in all sincerity, it was really the stirrings of grace in my own heart. But it was also looking at the data as it relates to our own state here in South Dakota. And the actual percent of people that were affected seriously was very, very low. And so it was really a matter of data, taking that to prayer, seeking counsel, that clearly led me in prayer to say, you know what, for those who are healthy, the obligation is that we attend Mass to give glory to God, to be together as a community of faith. And then, of course, God gives us his real presence in his body and his blood, which we need for spiritual nourishment.
And what have the priests and the laity told you about this decision? Are you worried that people and children particularly are being trained and acclimated to watching Mass on TV like another television show?
You know, it's funny you say that because my family's also been watching it. And I remember one of the great images, they took a picture of one of my nephews sitting in a recliner and saying, hey, we're getting used to this, right? So, you know, I think it's easy, right? It's easy to kind of say, hey, just attending by way of TV is sufficient. But really the issue is, depending on the state we're in, of course, and the circumstances, whenever we reasonably can, we need to be there because we need the spiritual food. And the Holy Eucharist, there's no replacement for the actual receiving it when we're healthy or if we're not caring for those who are in serious risk categories.
Have any fellow bishops reached out to you to ask you about this decision and seek your counsel on how they might implement it in their own diocese?
It's a good question. You know, it's pretty early on yet. I did reach out to some of our local bishops because I wanted them to be aware of what was stirring within my own heart, and particularly once I'd made that decision. I have gotten a little bit of outreach, and I suspect that they might be processing it themselves and trying to sort out in their own diocese, in light of the data they have in their state and diocese, what they ought to do.
Yeah, no, I get that this is a diocese by diocese decision, but I think it's an important one, and you're raising the issue. Certainly for a lot of Catholics across the country, because, look, I know people who are perfectly healthy. They have Mass available multiple times in their dioceses and in their parish, but they've elected not to go. In fact, I ran into, you know, we were all dressed. We went out to lunch, and there were friends of mine. They were in their shorts and, you know, T-shirts, and they were eating at the place. Hey, where were you all? I said, well, we were at Mass. And they said, oh, you know, we just watch it on TV. So it does promote this kind of laxity. What kind of turnout do you expect to see in the churches this Sunday in your diocese?
You know, we've been seeing since we lifted or when we returned to public masses, at least making those available back in May, we've seen a steady little increase more and more. I was just talking to a couple of different families from two different parishes, and they said this last weekend, since I put the announcement out, notifying people that they've seen a nice, significant uptick in people. So we're grateful for that. I anticipate that it may be, you know, it's going to take some time for those who may be afraid, but hopefully it will help those who are healthy to say, you know what, it's time. I need to be going back. That's my hope and my prayer, that it will really rightly help right set the thought process so that people can receive the Holy Eucharist and be together as a community of faith to give glory to God and to be a support to each other, especially in these trying times that we live in our own country.
Well, Bishop, I'm glad you shared that, and the timing is perfect, not only for laity, but for your fellow priests as well. Bishop Donald DeGrood of the Diocese of Sioux Falls, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. God bless you all.